Hey guys, and welcome to how to paint coloured metal on a Hashut inspired Warrior of Chaos for Old World. Okay, so we're here, we're going to go through the metal on the armor here in my usual, color glazing method. We've got some dark metals here, Iron Warriors, Lead Belcher, up into Stormhost Silver and the Rune Lord Brass, and a range of shade colors as well. So many of you will have seen this before, but for those that it's new for, we're going to go through it today. So this continues on in our little series of Warriors of Chaos Hashut inspired minis for Old World. I've already done a couple on the channel already, and if I'm really good, I'll either put them in the top right hand corner here or in the description, something like that, so you can take a look. But this one's just going to be focusing on the armor itself. So in the future, I'll do a full how to paint on the whole color scheme, in more detail. But for today, we're just going to be focusing on the armor. So I thought this would be a really good one to do. I've done a little bit of conversion work here on this. So this is the Chaos Lord model, that comes in that spearhead box or vanguard box, and I've just done a few changes. So the helmet, and just mucked around with the banner here, put like a sort of a bull face on the icon there, that sort of thing, because this is going to be my battle standard bearer for the army. So I thought that was a really fun little conversion, nice and quick, not too much messing around. It's only a small amount of green stuff, which I really like. I like doing those sorts of conversions. They just give you an instant different look without too much work. It's always the best one, right? So yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. We're going to get into it, and at the end I'll show you the finished mini and that sort of thing to show you how the whole thing comes together. I think that should be really cool. Nice easy one for us to get into. So let's start painting some metal, eh? All right, so to begin with, we're going to start off with that Iron Warriors, and that's a bit of a darker metal than the Lead Belcher, and that's to give us our base. So you're just painting all of the armored areas that you want in that silver steel tone, and just moving around the model. If the paint's a little thick, you might add a little drop of water with it, but usually the wet palette is enough. If you're using a dry palette, then yeah, definitely a small drop of water. And we're just basing all of that armor into a nice dark metal color. And so once we've got that down, then we move into the Lead Belcher. Now with this, we're not coating the whole area with it. We're doing a sort of very loose painterly highlight. So we're hitting all of the armored panels from the top as if the light is hitting it. So not quite as refined as a line highlight, but just hitting the top surface to give you a little bit of definition and separation from the dark tone, so you get a bit of a light tone on top. And this is just going to help in the overall value structure of the armor as we start adding shades, just to give it a little bit more punch, because the Iron Warrior is a little dark, so we just want to build it up a little bit. So once we've got that all sorted out, then we're moving into the base tone for all of the trim, and then we're using Rune Lord Brass here. You could also use gold, but we're using the brass. I really love this color, and we're just basing all of that trim where you want to see that brass. I'm doing a very army painting style here, where I'm doing a lot of the smaller details with this brass to help speed up the process. But you could define some of these trim in different colors, etc. But for army paintings wise, you want to try to reduce the number of variation of colors you have to go to get it done. So if you're doing 20 at a time or something, you don't have to go through many colors to get it finished. So once we've got that down, then we're moving into the first wash, which is the sepia wash. So you want to use a Lamia medium here to dilute it down, not water, because if it dries with water, you'll end up with white pigment showing through. So we want to use the Lamia medium to mix in with the sepia. And so what we're doing is we're just washing the whole surface to give a little bit of a muddy or brown stain to the armor, but not too heavy. And then finally coming in with that Nuln Oil, and we're going to be doing the same thing again, mixing that Lamia medium in, usually about one or two drops, just to dilute the wash down, so it's not too concentrated. We don't want to overly hit this, as it will dull the surface down too much. We just want to get a little bit of oily shading going on the model, and that will prepare us really nicely for our next step, which is the silver dry brush. So I've got our Stormhost Silver there, or a similar one. Going to get your sort of, makeup brush or scuffy brush or larger wedge-shaped brush, something like that. I'm using a synthetic brush here, a wedge-shaped one that's been used fairly often, and then a little bit of paper there to rub the paint off. And you just get that silver on the end of the brush, rub it off onto the paper or something similar until you've got pretty much all of the paint off it. And then you're just brushing across the edges of the armor, trying to hit those edges and get a little bit of highlighting going. You're not trying to over over hit this with the dry brush. You're just trying to rebuff the surface and give it a nice little bit of highlighting and shine so that it's got a little bit more strength to it for when we come back in with the next colored shades to give us our depth, and we'll still have some shine left. So from here, it's on to the colored shade colors, and now this is our glazing step. So we've got that red shade color there, the Carrierberg crimson, or sort of almost magenta tone there, and we're using our Lamia medium, and now you want to use extra drops of the Lamia medium. So we're talking about maybe 3 to 1 here, so 3 drops of Lamia medium to 1 drop of each of these shade colors. And we're starting with the red, going through the purple, and then the blue. And so we start with that red. We're using a smaller brush here, and instead of washing the surface, we're now targeting areas. We're looking at areas we want to stain the color red and give a little bit of vibrance to those shadows. And so as you go through, this will be the heaviest step, and then we move into the purple. And now with the purple, we're doing a little bit less. So think about sort of like heated steel, that sort of thing, where you get the discolorations, the sort of rainbow effect as it heats and cools. That's the sort of thing we're going for. And you're hitting both the brass and the steel here across all of the surfaces, and trying to build up a nice modulation of color between the red and the purple. And these are your main 2 colors to give you that vibrance in that steel. And so using the brush to feather out to the edges, wherever you lift the brush off is where you're going to get most of the pigment. So draw it towards either the ends or to the areas where the armor panels meet, that sort of thing. And you're trying to just create those nice colorful shadows. And so once we've got all that sorted out, then we move into the blue shade. Now the blue shade's very strong, so extra Lamia medium here, and we're just using that to help bump some of those shadows, try to get a little bit of extra darkness in there while still maintaining some color. So we just move around and look at those deep creases, those deep lines, give ourselves a little bit of blue here and there, not too much around the model, just to add a little bit of extra bump there and refine that overall shading. And so once we've sorted that out, now we're into that final step, which is probably the most important. And here we're doing a line edge highlight with the Stormhost Silver. So you're using a fine detail brush here. Okay, you're getting that Stormhost Silver out onto the palette, and you're beginning with adding a little bit to the brush, twirling it off to give yourself a nice point, and you're going around and just hitting those edges, nice line highlights, dragging it down towards yourself, making sure you're comfortable, using the edge of the brush like a knife edge to go along the edge of armor plates, that sort of thing, doing little scratches on little nicks and knacks on on the surface to show that age, and those little points where it's been dinted in battle, that sort of thing. And we're just moving around the armor, hitting all those top surfaces as if the light is coming from above and hitting that armor and giving you that nice shine back, because the shades will have dulled the surface by now. So we really need that value variance to give us our full range and make the armor really stand out. And at the end, you should have something really fun. And there we go, colored metals on a Hashut inspired Chaos Warrior for Old World. Let's take a look. So yeah, you can see how it comes up. I've done this many times on the channel before, but for those that this is new, you can see what happens here. The shade colors dry and give you lots of variation in the shadows. You get a much richer, darker look. So if you're looking for that sort of, more grim, dark looking Chaos Warrior, but still with a very sort of classic style, the metal armor, that sort of thing, then this is a really great one to try. And obviously it works on any kind of metals or anything that you're doing, but if you're doing Chaos Warriors, then this is what it looks like. And yeah, I think it comes up really cool, and it's very easy to do it. It makes the whole process of doing metallic Chaos Warriors a lot faster, and so it's good for army painting, that sort of thing, to get a whole lot done. And as you can see, the rest of my color scheme, goes along with it. So we've got some purple blues there, blacks, etc., those sorts of things. The bull icon at the top there for Hashut. Yeah, if you want to see more of those, as I've said in many of these videos, just look back. We've got a couple now on the channel, and there'll be more in the future. I've got many more conversions for these bull-inspired Chaos Warriors. It should be pretty fun. I'm looking at some really nice things to add to this, so that'll be really exciting for the future. But for now, this is what we've got. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll leave a nice image of him and the paint list as I normally do at the end. But I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit the like button, subscribe button. It really helps me out. And I guess I'll catch you on the next one.